Well, hello everybody. It is Friday, one day before the massive game, the return of the Black Country Derby. Special pre-match preview this week. From a Wolves point of view, of course, we have Mr. Joe Edwards. And from an Albion point of view, we've got Mr. Luke Hatfield. First and foremost, of course, there's great content, guys and girls, on the Express and Star website. However, if you haven't bought a paper in 2021, today is the time to buy one. Joe Edwards, Luke, we've got a plethora of build-up stuff from for the big game. Joe, what's online today from a Wolves point perspective?
Everything. There's loads.
I'm still writing as we speak. What you say?
Matt Murray on his derby memories. More specifically, a game in 2007 when Wolves beat Albion 1-0 and Murray had a stormer. Bully, with his column, recalling all these memories, goading Albion fans, showing them what they missed. And Conor Cody, insisting that they realise the importance of this derby. Of course, it's new to all this Wolves squad and all the Albion squad as well. But just kind of hammering on that message that we know what it means. We know we can leave no stone unturned, and Cody and the players are going all out for the win.
And Luke, from a Baggies point of view, what's in the paper?
Yeah, I'm not going to take much credit for it, but a colleague, Joe Massey's put together plenty on Albion, an interview with Peter Odemwingie. Of course, fans won't like to remember him. Ali Rob's given us his thoughts, and then online, of course, we're going to have our collated thoughts, so a kind of a written version of this video, aren't we? So, plenty for you to digest from an Albion perspective too.
Great stuff. So let's go into the game then. 12:30 kickoff. We're all going to be there at Molineux. Can't wait for the game. Look, both sides coming into it in cracking form. Joe, from a Wolves point of view, look, it's a pretty low ebb at the moment, isn't it? A little bit worrying.
Well, yeah, I've said it in my preview piece. That it is the lowest ebb, really, of Nuno's reign. I don't think you can really argue that, to be honest. I mean, 5 without a win, 11 without a clean sheet, 8 games conceding first in the Premier League. It's a bad run, and you pile the injuries onto the top of that, and there's no hiding from it. It's been a difficult time, but that being said, you can't use any excuses going into this game. You've got to put those aside and make the best of what you have. And despite Wolves' shortcomings as of late and the situation that they're in, if they apply themselves how they should beat Albion. Albion, of course, in a difficult spot. They'll be majorly up for it, of course. But losing this game is almost unfathomable, really, from a Wolves point of view. It's been a difficult season, as I say. Results haven't gone their way. They're 14th in the table at the moment. And a defeat or anything less than a win, really, against Albion would really kind of plunge it to a new low.
When you say plunge, Luke, I mean, Sam Allardyce has been brought in to steady the ship. It looks like it's sinking quicker than what it was at Village at the moment.
Yeah, it's a decision that hasn't really worked out so far, although admittedly, Big Sam hasn't had much time on the training ground with his players, and obviously, the squad that he's inherited from Slaven Bilic probably isn't the one that he would have, ideally see Big Sam taking charge of. I mean, I was listening to Joe reel off them stats. I'll tell you what, can we swap them round? Albion had 1 win this season, and that win was a lucky one. Let's be honest. Sheffield United really did give Albion a bit of a batter in second half, but somehow they won that game. It's been a challenge for the Baggies. The fans, obviously, so unhappy with the way things have gone. There's some fans obviously fuming with the ownership, the decisions that have been made. I mean, the way Slaven Bilic was treated when he was sacked. I mean, after a 1-1 draw at Manchester City was pretty surprising. In general, it's been a pretty dour season, to say the least, for Baggies fans. Of course, there needs to be a turning point if they are going to try and fight for survival. And what better opportunity than a game against Wolves, eh?
Yeah, I guess in some ways both sides will welcome this game. I think they both kind of need this game, actually, but for different reasons. From you and Wolves' point of view, Joe, who is a player who can win the game? Do you think single-handedly, if he's on his day, he can win a game? He can win the game on Saturday for Wolves and get 3 points.
Adama Traore, if he's back, I mean, that's everybody's keeping their fingers crossed, touching wood, or keeping their toes crossed, whatever you want to call it, because he was missed against Everton, and against Brighton and against Palace, he'd been back to the level that he was at last season. He's free-flowing best, taking players on for fun, and Albion have had a few problem positions, of course. They are where they are for a reason, but I think left back has been a problem position for them, and if you can get Traore running at Kieran Gibbs, you'd fancy him really. But if Traore isn't fit, then you'd like to think Ruben Neves has got a big part to play as well. I think he's been arguably the standout performer in recent weeks, really. He's been very consistent. I think him and Traore are probably the two that have been up there, and against Everton he was easily the best player in a Wolves shirt. So those two in particular have got a big part to play, and we'll see whether it's Silva or Cutrone up front.
And Luke, who are Albion going to look out for to really have a chance of all 3 points?
I think the big name will probably be Mateus Pereira. I mean, he's come out on social media this week and he's kind of talked down any talks of him being upset, unhappy. I mean, he's not happy with the way things are going right now, but if he puts out a performance to match his words, which he did send out on social media, then Wolves could be in for a tough time handling him. Elsewhere, I mean, Joe kind of pointed out there, if Kieran Gibbs is fit, he's going to face a challenge against Adama Traore if he's fit too. Another big performer has been Sam Johnson. If he's showing the form that he's shown the majority of this season, I'm not saying they're going to win the game because it's very hard for a goalkeeper to go and score a goal, but he can certainly put in an inspired performance and made it tough for Wolves to try and break the deadlock. And we know that they've kind of struggled in front of goal.
And Joe, key battle on the field. I guess if Traore's played and Gibbs plays, then that could be a key battle down that right hand side. Are there any other battles or areas or that you think might be key to the way this game plays out?
I think Neves against whoever is against him in the middle of the park, whether that's Livermore who picks him up or one of the other lads in the Albion midfield. If you give Neves time to work his magic, then he will. I mean, we saw it massively against Palace last week. Given time to operate and make his passes, and he will. He'll find a 50-yard pass on a sixpence, and again he had that swagger back against Everton, it seemed, as well. So Albion, to have any chance really, you'd think they've got to get close to him. They've got to try and snuff him out and press him, and because if they give him time, then you'd like to think he'll get Wolves on the attack and hopefully scoring goals.
Luke, any ones that stand out for you on the pitch?
I'm actually going to pick out Albion's left winger, Grady Diangana. If he's playing, we've seen what he can do last season. He hasn't really showed just what he can do in the Premier League. But if he's coming up against Nelson Semedo, who I know has picked up in form recently, but has shown a very mixed set of performances for me. If they can get in behind him and cause him problems, we know that he's a little bit maybe suspect defensively. So Grady Diangana could be in for a good afternoon against him. Yeah,
interesting. It could be I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game, actually. I'm looking forward to it. No fans, though, of course. And look, we're devastated. We're in the privileged position, hopefully, that we'll all be there at Molineux. Do you think it makes a big difference? Either of you wants to answer that? There will be no fans there. Of course, that's the one thing that everyone was looking forward to. And a silent Molineux or a silent Hawthorns, it's just not the same. But do you think that might have an effect on the players or not? Are they kind of used to this by now?
I think they're probably used to it, but I do think it could perhaps play into some of the Wolves' lads' favour.
Okay, how's that when they're at home?
Just some of the young lads, especially Silva or Ait Nouri. The hostility of it all, it'd be completely new to them, I think, and it'd perhaps have the potential to knock them off course. As well as a home atmosphere could get behind them. I think the Albion fans would still make their presence heard, and it would perhaps be a bit too much of an occasion. So maybe, strangely, some of these Wolves players and some of these young players that are still feeling the way into English football, a lack of a crowd could play into their favour, strangely. I don't know what you think, though.
Yeah, it's funny because I was going to say that it probably favours Albion purely because you haven't got that really loud, thunderous Wolves support, which Molineux is more than used to in previous years. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because that's the worst thing about this game and the time that it's come, that it's been so long before we've not had a Black Country derby in so long, and now when it finally comes around, it looks like there's going to be no fans at Molineux. Well, of course there's going to be no fans at Molineux, but also at the Hawthorns, which is a real shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. From a team point of view, What do you think, Joe? We'll come to you. Look, Nuno's still got to do his press conference, of course, so Traore and the fitness of him is going to be crucial. There's talks of Fabio Silva. A lot of the fans want to see Patrick Cutrone in there. It's very difficult to predict a Nuno side in 2020, 2021, that's for certain. It wasn't 7, 8, 9 games in a row with the same team. Those days have long gone. So what would be your best prediction if you had to decide now? I mean, not just personnel, but formation as well.
I'm probably just about leaning towards the 4. I think if Willy Boly is available, then I think there's a good chance he goes back to the 3. But I mean, if he's not available, then I don't think he will with Kilman. I mean, I don't think Kilman's done a lot wrong, but recent weeks are telling you that he's probably going to stick with a 4. And then up front, I think either Silva or Cutrone. I'm just about leaning towards Silva. Just for the fact that if he scores against Albion, scores the winner against Albion, he's a made man, and his fortunes completely change. He goes from a striker desperately needed a goal, short on confidence, frustrated with himself, to somebody who'll be feeling on cloud nine and like he can take on the world, really. So I think I'd be tempted to start Silva, see how it goes, but if it's not going well, don't hesitate to take him off. If it's half time and you're still without a goal, get Cutrone on and change it. Don't be afraid to change it.
And Luke, from Albion, we could see a debut, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could. I imagine it'll be 4-5-1 from Big Sam. It'll be a pretty defensive setup, I'd imagine. Johnson in goal. Right back will be Darnell Furlong. Centre backs probably Shemi Ajayi and Dara O'Shea, just purely because Branislav Ivanovic has not shown the form that I think many people would hope for. Gibbs, fingers crossed at left back, is fit. And then Snodgrass is the man who we think will start, I imagine, on that right-hand side. We could see another debut if they bring in Hamza Chowdhury. Joe Massey's reporting that they're hopeful of completing that. Whether that will get done before the game, we're yet to see. If not, you'll see Livermore in midfield, probably with Romain Sawyers maybe. On the left side, Dean Garner, Pereira in a more advanced attacking position, and then Callum Robinson, the only real senior fit striker at the moment, up top. So it's going to be an interesting game, I think, to see how Snodgrass kind of settles in.
So, the time has come. It is prediction time. It's Wolves against West Bromwich Albion at Molineux. Joe Edwards, can you predict? I'm going to give you an imaginary £1,000. No, actually, I'm going to PayPal you £1,000 real pounds now to put on any bet of your choosing. What is that scoreline?
2-0 Wolves. I said it.
Clean sheet and goals. Are you crazy?
Yeah, well, maybe. But yeah, I think it's going to be cagey. I think it's going to be cagey early on, especially. But as I say, despite how Wolves have been recently, it's a difficult run, as say, lowest ebb of Nuno's tenure. If they apply themselves in the way that they should, they should win. The quality should tell. It's as bad as Wolves' injury list is, they've still got some very good players, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, and they have got more quality than Albion. But it's just whether that quality comes to the fore. Fingers crossed it does.
Good entertaining game for you, Joe, or not? Or do you think it's going to be a tough watch?
Maybe a tough watch, but just take a win by hook or crook.
Luke?
I think it'll be a grim game to watch, to be honest. For me, I can't quite give a win to either side at the moment. I'm just going to sit on the fence and go for 1-1.
No, you get pointy. Yeah, you get hurt on that fence.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a great game to watch. I don't think goals are going to be flowing. I don't think it's going to be very attacking from either side. Although Wolves will have the onus on them. I can just see Albion maybe nicking a header just before half time, and then Wolves probably coming into their own second half and nabbing an equaliser and probably pushing, but failing to find a winner.
I might have a little bet, being impartial, of course, that 22 players do not finish the game. If depending on how the referee, I think it's important how we referee it, especially first 15 minutes, could set the tone of how this game goes. If there's a couple that booked inside the first 10, it could be an interesting afternoon. Looking forward to it. So, 4 of us will be at Molineux. Joe Edwards, Luke Hatfield, Joe Massey, and myself will be giving you all the reaction, of course, after the game. It's Wolves against West Brom. Looking forward to it, guys. Thank you very much. And, of course, expressthestyle.com for all the build-up as well.